So guys, Nigerians continue to react after Tinubu ignored Frank Mba to go to Lagos to pick a Yoruba man and made him the IGP of Nigeria. That has come with a whole lot of reactions. Even people like Isaac Fayose has also reacted to that. Now, before we get into the videos I've got for you, let's see what these headlines are saying. This one here says, how Nigeria happened to DIG Frank Mba, 8 years to retirement, 40 days to retirement. So he's comparing Frank Mba versus the Yoruba man whom Tinubu has appointed as the new IGP. Now, Frank Mba has 8 years to retire, while this man has 40 days to retire. DIG Frank Mba is a DIG senior, while the Yoruba man who is now asked to be the IGP is AIG junior. Frank Mba is an Igbo man, and this one is a Yoruba man. Frank Mba will be sacked, not really sacked, he will be asked to retire, or he has been asked to retire, while this man who is a junior to Frank Mba has been promoted to the IGP. Guys, this is what is leaving Nigerians in shock. Tinubu is helping in destroying this country. See, like people always say that Nigeria was never made to accommodate the Igbos. It keeps playing out on a daily basis, even as we try to fight to say, okay, let this country stay united. But you see, the leaders of this country, the so-called leaders, they will always want to destroy this nation. How do you relieve a man of his position, 8 years to go, and you pick a man who has just 40 days to go and made him the IGP? Guys, this is one of the reasons why the Igbos will say there is no point, serving in the Nigerian military or even in the Nigerian police, because it does not favor the Igbos. Under Buhari's government, the same thing happened. Immediately Buhari came in, he relieved the Igbo generals. He said they all retired so that Buhari will be able to pick his own choice candidates. Guys, I don't know where this is written in the constitution. It's just messing up the whole system. Tinubu came in, even when Tinubu chose his ministers, they let go some generals. People they've spent money to train and all that. They let them go. Nigeria, the police force, military force, they have limited number of officers, and still see how they are relieving people of their position. Now, this other person say the Yorubanization of Nigeria by the drug cartel is enough reason for all Nigerians of good conscience to ensure these guys do not return to office. They don't care about the unity and progress of our country. For them, it's either his boys or nothing. God forbid this kind of leadership. So guys, the same Tinubu, tomorrow now he will go to hire Obi Kubana them. He only acknowledges the Igbos when it's time to serve his own interests. Guys, this is unbelievable. He will hire Kubana chief priest and Obi Kubana them to come and campaign for him to get southeast votes. But see how the southeasterners are being treated. Guys, you need to know this Mba in person. A well-polished officer, very respected person, very professional in his action. He doesn't mess himself up, well read. I mean, this man even left his position for some time and still went back to school. Now they want to relieve him, they want to send him home, forcefully retire him even when it's not time. Guys, this is unbelievable. I'm going to allow you to take a look at how Nigerians have reacted to this. Like this person here say, how can Nigeria be one and progress with this much tribalism and nepotism? Guys, this is unbelievable. The same thing Buhari did, the same thing Tinubu is doing in his own time, and we must condemn this. Now this person say Tinubu bypasses Nigeria most senior police officer DG Frank Mba, appoints Tunji Disu as IGP. Guys, and it is being said that Tinubu went to Lagos to pick this man. He is not even in Abuja. Possibly he's serving in Lagos, but as a junior officer to Mba, he's now going to be the IGP. Guys, this is enough evidence to know that the Igbos, you are not welcome in this country. The same thing in Northern Buhari did. We were thinking with a Southern president, some of these things will be balanced, but Tinubu is doing the worst. Now, this is coming from Isaac Fayose, and this is when he said, current government is doing nepotism. The president is Yoruba. Our chief justice is Yoruba, EFCC chairman Yoruba, DSS Yoruba, Attorney General of the Federation is Yoruba, Chief of Army Staff is Yoruba, CBN General is Yoruba, FIRS, that's the man in charge of all the taxes, is Yoruba, INEC is Yoruba. This is coming from Isaac Fayose. Guys, this is unbelievable. Tinubu has finally paralyzed, any effort to unify this country has been paralyzed. Just this one move alone, Tinubu has destroyed everything. And I'm really sorry for those who think that going to support Tinubu or joining the city boy movement is of any benefits. How do you just neglect a group of people? Nnamdi Kanu was sentenced to life and taken to Sokoto prison. Terrorists are being paid in millions and billions of naira. Guys, tell me where the balance is. Terrorists are being paid. The government pays terrorists, but jailed Nnamdi Kanu. Guys, this is unbelievable. Guys, let me allow you to take a look at these videos and let me know your honest reaction in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification for more. Now take a look.
You are looking for nepotism. You don't need to go far. This government, APC government, starting from Buhari, they are full of that. Nepo na their name. In Nigeria today, our president is Yoruba. Our Chief Justice of the Federation is Yoruba. EFCC Chairman is Yoruba. DSS is Yoruba. Attorney General of the Federation is Yoruba. Chief of Army Staff is Yoruba. Even the people that handles our account, Kadoso, is Yoruba. Even FRS is Yoruba. Even INEC is Yoruba. You know their agenda is to keep themselves safe in power by their tribesmen. Nothing else. Look at IGP. IGP, we have Frank Uba there. Frank Uba is 52 years old. He's a super cop. He's a DIG. What is wrong with you saying, Frank Uba, go? You are now our new IGP. But no, he went back to his state in Lagos to pick IGP. And you will sit down there and say opposition are not trying. How can opposition try? When now all your tribesmen, now them they power, now them they control things. This is nepotism. You city boy, you are in Imo, jumping up and down like a bugger. But you forget that even your brothers in positions, they don't put them there. Continue to jump like frog. Anyway, government of nepotism think we have what they call federal character. Apply it. No be only your tribesmen good position fit.
My darlings, you all don't even know what is happening. DIG Frank Mba, the most senior and the most qualified police officer that is supposed to be the new Inspector General of Police, has been retired by the federal government. While Olatunji Disu, a Yoruba man, a junior officer to Frank Mba, has been appointed as the Inspector General of Police. Why was a highly experienced and senior officer retired at such a crucial moment? Why appoint someone junior over a more senior and qualified officer? How can Nigeria be won and progress with this much tribalism and nepotism? Is it because Frank Mba is an Igbo man that made Nigerian government subdue him? A man that everyone can attest to his professionalism and competence. Unbelievable. Jesus Christ. This is happening because the Nigerian government would rather have a Yoruba man head the Nigerian police force. Where are those Igbo intellectuals always on the fence when hot Igbo matters are discussed? You write nonsense to justify the oppression of our people. When we counter, you say we are divisionists. Fear. Where is City Boys movement? Where is Izaro? These are those you want us to collaborate. But doing the basic and right thing that will help us feel among, they always deny us. They will also use and dump you all. You think you are exempted? Oh, sorry. Ndị are not asking for special treatment. They are asking for equal treatment. They are asking for fairness. Nigeria will continue to suffer until Igbos get deserved justice in this contraption. Otherwise, no remedy. Listen to me. I said no remedy can save Nigeria. Ndibo, don't know. Oh.
Dr. Onumonu, you have raised the question of marginalization.
Yes.
And some in Igbo land are saying that perhaps if you allow some seaport around that axis, that's one way of checking Igbo marginalization. And do you think Oribu has what it takes to host a seaport?
It has. Like I've said, from Uguta to the Atlantic, the Bonny Island, is just 16 nautical miles. And it's the closest in the whole of Igbo land. And the Igbo people are very enterprising people. commercial-oriented people. In fact, we learned that in all the containers or whatever being shipped outside Nigeria, over 70% goes to Igbo land. So looking at all of this whole thing, I'm wondering why the government has not made effort. And it's not really about the current government, the previous government. Why have they not made frantic effort in ensuring that Igbo land has seaport? And it's not just about the Igbo land too. Functional seaport maybe in the current south, we should have like 3-4 functional. In the southeast, like 3-4. Of course, even the west, and one of the inland ports in the north and all of that. When these things are done, it will have a way of distributing the resources and improving and promoting the economy of every region. So Igbo has what it takes, like I've said, to have this seaport in Igbo land. And when that is done, you see, to douse the tension. Because when you go to Igbo land, honestly speaking, you do not have federal presence in Igbo land. For example, like in Lagos, that is in southwest. Lagos has been over 100 years of Nigeria investment. You know, and this investment or the resources that is used for the investment is majorly from Nigerian oil and all of that, the tax and the rest of them. Of course, Lagos was former capital of Nigeria. So understandably, Nigeria invested a lot. You come to Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, the same thing. Even Kaduna has been very important states for northern leaders. All the northern leaders, virtually all of them has houses there. They all have houses there. Buhari, Babangida, and the rest of them. So there was this conscious effort to develop Kaduna.
It's even the home of the military.
That is it. You have the refinery there, home of the military. You have the NDA there. You have the Air Force and many other institutions, over 200 important institutions over there. So, but when you come to the southeast, you have nothing. Maybe first and second Niger bridge. And I don't know what else again. You know, so you realize about
you have federal universities.
Yeah, federal universities. Even, in fact, even Unizik, you know, at a point, they were not given they were not made, Unizik was not made residential university, I think till date. You know, so these are the issues. So apart from the federal university and all, so when you go there, you
have a division of the army in Enugu.
So all of these things, they are not really what they need. What will give their youth work? That is why, you know, you see them, a good number of them in Lagos and all of Abuja and all of that.
And so a port is critical.
It's critical.
Can you let us into the drainage of Oribo? Let's have a deeper understanding of the waterways there.
Okay, I say remarkably, the Igbo River flows westward towards Ebema. You know, I told you that in Ebema, you have some local governments, you know, that were carved into Imo State and some were carved into River State. And that was done in 1967. And it was done to break the backbone of Ojukwu. Because Ojukwu, at that point, became the president of Biafra. So creating those states, you know, sort of threw him out of balance, out of equation, out of power. So the river flows westward towards Ebema. Thus, it provides Oribo people whose farmland are there with water and salt during flood period. The swamp is full of hard trees. So you have a lot of swamp in Oribo. Like when we say, up to today, you have the Calabari Beach in Oribo. So moving westward, you have river that connects to Port Harcourt. And to the other side, you know, that also face the east-west road. That is the Bayelsa, where you have the Atlantic. Majorly, Bayelsa is bordered with Oribo through the water bodies. But for Port Harcourt too, you have water body that River Niger, and then you also have land there, land routes. So like I've said, the swamp is full of hard trees that are used for building and other construction. Most of the strong timbers, for example, you know, look all this issue of, you know, people so much, when you read the internet, they so much have interest in telling Igbo they are landlocked. Even the Buhari say they are dots. These are the issues. for a president to call a section of the country a dot. So you see, there is this deliberate effort to undermine, to weaken, to make them feel, to all of that.
But some would ask, if they were not landlocked, how come they were blockaded on the sea?
Like I've told you, the blockade has to do with having a military presence, barricades.
So they blocked the channel.
Yes.
So Biafra will not have access to the Atlantic.
That is, in fact, during the Civil War, some Oribo people, even especially women, were going into the Atlantic, into Bayelsa area, into Aboda is River State, Eziani, okay, into River State to trade. There are some items that were considered as very important, essential items like tobacco, salt, and all of that. We are getting those from Nigeria through the water.
I saw a picture you took at the War Museum in Umuahia.
That's it.
And you say replica of the warship that was captured
in Oribo.
In Oribo.
Particularly inside Oguta Lake, it was bombarded. When the Juku came from Umuahia.
It was a Nigerian ship.
And Buguma.
So it came towards that zone.
It came towards that zone.
So that means it could hold a ship.
In fact, in this book written by
Alabi Sama,
he stated all of this in there. This is the richest book in the Nigerian Civil War. It had a lot of pictures, You
say that?
Yeah, because his mother went with him. I don't know. Mother, very powerful woman, went with him and all of that. So he had a lot of pictures. They're all there. These are all displayed. The Nigerian, I want to even ask, has Nigerian government made any effort to really carry out study research on linking or dredging the River Niger to Igbo land? And the answer is no. So you see the effort on telling them they are dot, they are landlocked, they are not true. Before the Civil War, they've been relating with their kings and king in river states, like I've said.
Through the waterway.
The Omok people, the Ele, all of these people, they are same and one, people. They are cousins to the Oribo people.
He has mentioned this book, The Tragedy of Victory, on the spot account of the Nigeria-Biafra War in the Atlantic Theater. And your work, your thesis can be said to be the war in the Atlantic Theater, Oribo. So look at the work by Alabi Sama. You should read this too. Tragedy of Victory. You want to tell us more on the drainage?
Yes. Okay, let me just read this, so I can get some point on the drainage. Geographically, the common linkage to all the Oribo communities is Urashi River.
Good.
The Urashi River runs through all the towns and communities in Oribo. Even to the Njaba.
Now, I've heard a lot about the Urashi River.
Yes. It runs. It is interesting to know that Urashi River is found in all the various Oribo communities in Imo State. In fact, it extends to places like Abonima, that's in River State, Omok in River State, Ahoda in River State, etc. So, Nigerian government and people, they know what they're doing.
So, Biafra is not landlocked.
It's not. Igbo land is
the
not
old
landlocked.
Biafra. Okay, the Igbo land is not landlocked.
Igbo land is not landlocked.
It's not a dot.
It's not a dot. Because in fact, like I've told you, there's a study that was carried out, and it was said that 3 ethnic groups in River States are Igbo, the Ijo, and Ogoni.
Ijo and Ogoni are Igbo.
No, there are 3 ethnic groups.
Okay.
And then when you also look at it, also the Oribo also border with the Anioma people. In fact, some people are saying that there is this move of creation of additional state to Igbo states to southeast. We have the Anioma, and there's some people also saying Anemoma. Whichever way, either the Anioma or Anioma, it also have effect to Oribo because of the demography, because they also border. The Oribo also border with Delta states.
And I saw the maps you highlighted in the work.
So that is it. So when you begin to say they are dots or they are landlocked, they are not true. In fact, we even learned that because we don't just read works and draw a conclusion and find this. We also carry out field works. Like I've said, I've been on this war for like over 20 something years, going 30 years.
And it seems you've read on the books on Biafra because you quoted or you cited
Yes,
them in
all
your
of
book.
all of this book, I've read all of those books I have, except this new one.
Okay.
Read all of them. At some points, I go to UI bookshops, go to the bookseller, I'll see all the books, I've read all of them. So that is the training we got in UI. We also corroborated the work with archival materials. National Museum Nsukka, National Museum Enugu, National Museum Ibadan, even War Museum, National Archives Ibadan, National Archives Enugu, War Museum Umuahia. We also got some materials from the Secretariat in Oribo, European document letters and all of that were sent to the government and all of those stuff.
Tell me about the War Museum in Umuahia.
The War Museum in Umuahia is a masterpiece. When you see the bunker, it links, there's underground that connects the State House and some other places. It's like...
So that War Museum at the moment was the State House?
Yes.
Where Ojukwu resided?
Yeah, where he resided. And it could go down the drain. It takes you minutes, if not close on. Move inside. The concrete, the iron and everything. I don't think there's any bomb that can really...
Did you go into the bunker?
I went in there.
I've not been there.
And Nigeria is not learning. Instead of Nigeria to learn from this, because most of them that built these things were engineers.
Igbo engineers?
Igbo engineers.
They built those bunkers?
Yes. These are people who also, they learned all of these things in abroad. That's the point. Before the Nigerian Civil War broke out, or before all of these crises I mentioned of 1962 and all of those stuff that led to the pogrom, the Igbo had the highest number of officers. So then some of them pilots, some of them engineers and all of that, trained abroad. So during the Civil War, they brought all of these things to bear. Even creation of, creating Ogbunigbe and all of those stuff. They did all of these things. But instead of Nigeria learning from it, they were cancelling everything. At a point, I went to National Archives in Enugu. I was told by the officials that some person came from Abuja and were taking some documents away, cutting away from the document. They didn't want people to research, to know and all of those things. There is a way to research all of these things with good conscience, positively. You can offend somebody and also admit that, okay, we've done this wrongly and all, can we move ahead? But Nigeria lives in denial. After the Civil War, some department like Department of Physics in UNN were canceling all of those stuffs.
That Department of Physics in UNN was critical.
Yes.
To the scientific development.
At some point, when you read the works of Ojukwu, he said it. At a point, if there's a work by this person in Biafra, Africa, die or so, He said it. They were creating all kinds of things. At the point, they were also contemplating even building aircraft. So these are the things, even the Europeans saw, they were afraid. They were like, if these people are allowed to go the way they are going, they'll be in trouble. Because they'll have another giant in Africa that would really confront and challenge and compete with the Western world. So that's the problem. So we can't keep treating ourselves the way we are treating ourselves. We desire to see a prosperous Nigeria. A Nigeria that will be, look at what we're talking about today. Bandit and all of Nigeria has become like Yemen, Afghanistan. It's shameful. We have what it takes to become, in fact, at some points, people are coming from Europe to live in Nigeria. Before Nigeria independence and after Nigeria independence. But today, Nigeria is left. When you go to some countries, even in Africa, you weep for Nigeria. Things are working. Housing, internet, good roads. In fact, somebody was telling me a story that even Gambia, they went, what they saw. So the kind of politics and the ethnic game we are playing is really killing the country. And if we don't really have a rethink, we might end up becoming, in fact, the way it is now, we're even laughing stock.
Are Igbo persons visiting the War Museum enough?
I don't really think so because, the publicity or the awareness is not there as such.
You see, I've not been there.
Yeah.
Not been there. I'm going there with my crew. I need to tell that story.
Of course, in War Museum, you will see a lot of armor tanks. They were created by the Biafrans.
You even took a picture by the side of the Uguta boy. That's the Nigerian armored vehicle that was captured by Biafra.
That is it. So they created armor tanks, and these things were really, in fact, propeller and all of those things, aircraft, and they did all kinds of things.
And they are the War Museum?
They had one museum. In fact, they even created the Radio Biafra. They refined crude oil in Opoma, close in Olibo. So these are the things Nigerians were not ready for development, to create a nation where we'll be proud of. Rather, we are playing ethnicity. And that is why our worst end up becoming our presidents. Great mind today, are fleeing, are living abroad because the political space is toxic.
But is that the way out? By running away?
It's not the way out.
If you are a great mind, why do you run away?
But the reason why they are running away is that you can't really face them, because these people are beasts. Yeah, they are really, they can do anything.
You can face them
to grab the power. You can't really face them because they have everything at their disposal. They have the armor tank, they have the military, they have the INA, they have everything.
So is it a hopeless situation?
Well, it's not hopeless, but the problem of Nigeria is not only, in fact, Chinua Achebe said it in his work, The Trouble with Nigeria. The problem of Nigeria is not with the firmament, it's not with the weather, it's a problem of leadership. But I also add the problem of followership.
Why are you adding followership when they cannot do anything?
Because you see Nigerians today, somebody is suffering, is earning 15,000 naira per month. Yes, he's supporting corrupt leaders.
But you said they are helpless.
On the account of ethnic fulfillment. When we all speak with one voice, the power resides with the people. But today, you see, everything is all about ethnicity. P2B, Tinubu, whatever, all of these things, ethnicity. Go to internet, it's toxic. Nobody's talking about how can we build our nation.
You mentioned the Kenna Nzimiro.
Very great intellectual. From Uribe.
When I was studying the Ahira Declaration, his name was prominent. He's a son of Uribe.
That is it.
Why did you have to bring him into your thesis?
Because he also played a part. He was among the think tank. When you go to the War Museum, you see their pictures there. Chinua Achebe, was part of them. Nzimiro was part of them. Uche Chukwumerija, some of them, about 7 of them, they are all there.
You cited his article, and I want to look at that article. Nzimiro writes, centuries of economic exploitation of Africa by her former colonial masters has left the economy of the new nations weak. Because of the ideological backwardness of some of the leaders, they lack the dynamic spirit of accepting the challenge of a new society and still depend on the metropolitan countries for their political and economic destiny. See, this is an article written long ago. And then Nzimiro is saying here that because of the ideological backwardness of some of African leaders, so this ideological backwardness has always been there.
It's always been there.
How come you can't come out of it?
And when you look at our first republic, look at the kind of leaders who we had. Awolowo of this world, highly intellectual.
But they caused the problem. Didn't they cause the problem?
Yeah. They caused the problem. Not only him. I'm not talking about the quality of leadership.
Yeah, we don't doubt the quality of their mind. But with the quality of their mind, how come they could not build an advanced nation? That's the question.
Well, and also, the Kolemas also contributed to that. For example, before they left, they empowered the caliphate. That's the Fulani. And that's the problem. Not minding that the other Fulani are latecomers. They came to Nigeria in the 19th century. We don't have indigenous Fulani. But today they are very powerful all over Nigeria. All the northern leaders, the governors are all Fulani. Mention them. And all the leaders, except who? They all live. Is it Atiku? Is it Yar'Adua? Is it Buhari? Is it Shehu Shagari? Name them. Usman Dofo, Sultan of Sokoto, the leader of Muslim all over West Africa, Nigeria. Mention them, the emirs and all of those stuff.
But they are also capable, are they not?
They are not. Buhari is not capable. or he was not capable. Even Yar'Adua, well, has a good mind, but even had health issues. You know, Yar'Adua came from a political family. So that is the point. So I'm trying to...
Was Jonathan capable?
Jonathan was not capable.
Is Tinubu capable?
Tinubu is not capable too.
So is it about the North?
Well, you know, I'm trying to answer your question. I'm saying that, you know, you are trying to blame Awolowo, and I'm saying that we should not blame it wholesale on Awolowo.
I'm not blaming Awolowo. I'm saying if they were intellectuals, if they were brilliant, Azikiwe and co.
Of course,
how come they could not build a consensus?
Even if the Zik, they kept fighting against themselves.
Yes, that's the issue. The point I'm raising,
and all of those stuff. But you know, I'm saying that Europeans also created that
divide and rule.
Yeah, but I also agree with what you're saying. If somebody is trying to create trouble in your house, you should also speak to yourself. Find a way to really navigate. And
Britain tried to invade China. They conquered part of China, took Hong Kong. But the Chinese have bounced back.
That's it.
Japan invaded Korea, enslaved Korea for more than 30 years. The kind of enslavement that did not even happen in Africa. South Korea is an advanced nation.
That's it.
So why is Africa still lagging behind?
I think it's because of the nature of our society, driven by ethnicity, tribalism, sentiment, and not ideology.
Nzimiro says, political corruption by the neo-colonial forces takes the form of exploiting the internal political weakness of the state to divide their leaders. Is that the point you are making?
That's it.
He continues, a strong and dynamic socialist Biafra terrifies the neo-colonial agents, and they prefer to support weak and divided Nigeria against a Biafra nation that would decolonize the country completely.
That's it.
These were core Biafrans.
Core Biafrans.
They were ready to die for Biafra.
Exactly.
Because if you read that declaration, even while reading it, I was just charging up. But at some point, I said, calm down. You are a researcher.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't find yourself in the Nzimora spirit. He says in this article that Biafran revolution terrifies the reactionary countries who are backed by the imperialist countries of the West that mold the foreign and international policies of these reactionary governments. Is that where we are at the moment? Remember, Donald Trump has come. Why are some rejoicing about the coming of Donald Trump? Will it be in the favor of Igbo people?
Well, like I've said, you know, the whole thing is shrouded in mysteries, and we cannot say we have a monocausal reason or have a monocausal answer. It is a multidimensional and multifaceted. Because this same United States of America didn't support the so-called Biafra Christian during the Civil War. The support they got from the US was just on a charity basis from the churches and individuals. But from the United States government, they didn't have the backing. United States backed briefing. And these things are based on their ideology, based on their national interests. Now, back to Nigeria. Why the sudden, support for the Christians? It's not just about Christians. There are a lot of reasons for me. Even the economic reason, ideological reason, and military reason, security reason, because Nigeria is becoming, as I'm concerned, home for terrorists. And all of these things. So it's not just about the Christian whatever.
So America is fighting for its own interests.
Own interests. Because also America is also watching the international dynamics. Chinese are taking over Africa, West Africa. France, as a matter of fact, France is losing some states in West Africa, and also gaining some states in West Africa.
He has gained Nigeria.
He has gained Nigeria. And that is really paradoxically and ironically, because we are not colonized by France. But today they use Nigeria, they quell the coup that in Benin, courtesy of Tinubu. And the man in Burkina Faso said that the plane they capture has a lot of mechanism or a lot of gadgets placed in that airplane to carry out a surveillance of their nation and all of those stuff, their security apparatus and some other things. So it's really deep. So some are really happy and some are not happy. Some Northerners are not happy. And so these are the issue of ethnicity and
some
religion.
Igbos are happy. They are telling Trump, go ahead.
And they are, most Igbo, let me put it this way, are happy. And it's because they feel that maybe this Nigeria has been unfair to them. For example, look at their son kept in Sokoto prison. Whereas look at Gumi saying all sort of things, snapping picture with terrorists and all of those stuffs. A lot of imams saying all kinds of provocative manners, declaring, even saying that they would declare, or even if they declared Arewa and all of those stuffs. They are unhurt. But terrorists are being integrated into Nigeria's security architecture. Terrorists are brandishing weapons and have collaboration with the government. Before they carry out the attack, our military will be withdrawn. So these are the things the Igbo people are looking. Igbo people have suffered so much. I don't know. During the Civil War, the way it was prosecuted, during the 1966 pogrom, the way it was done all over Nigeria, even expatriate people were like, wow, what kind of thing is this? Are these people are they not part of the union and all of those stuffs? The way people were killed, brutally killed and all of those stuffs, and then going to the Civil War, the way it was carried out. Over 3 million people from the defunct Biafra were killed, children were killed and all of those stuffs, agents were killed, the blockade and all of those stuffs. After the Civil War too, even the issue of properties were seized, and even the issue of the 20 pounds, all of those stuffs, the assets were seized, the indigenization policy, they couldn't buy. And since then, Igbo man has not become president. So these are the things that are making them feel angry. And not just that. When it comes to national assets or resources, one Nigeria. But if there's any misunderstanding on verbal exchange, go back to your region, all of those stuffs. So you see all of this whole thing, the election during the past election, they're also watching how Tinubu comported himself and the kind of things he said, MCO, Olomo, and all of this whole thing. So these things make them feel bad. For example, every other region, South has 6 states, Northwest 7, North Central 6, Southwest 6. And they have been having 5 states. These are the issues. Deliberate design to keep them, to break them down. I told you that this thing started even from the British. The people of Anioma, the Ekumeku, fought them for like up to 30 years, for British to stand still.
About women fought them.
Yeah, about women fought them in 29. Indirect rule didn't work in Southeast at all. It worked perfectly in the North, partially in the West. So all of this whole thing, and so after the Second World War, 1945, the mining of coal because British started mining coal in Enugu, and they were taking it to their own country and all of those stuff to recover from the losses they had during the Second World War. And they challenged them too. The Igbo people challenged them. So they saw these Igbo people as very stubborn. They have the gut and all of those stuff. They have independent mind. They will not align. And if they had allowed Biafra to stand, or if they had handed over the power to the Igbo people, I'm telling you, all this issue of neo-colonialism would have been dealt with. And if that is dealt in Nigeria, so to speak, other African countries will also catch the fire.
So how will Trump bombing
so the
help them?
Well, they just feel that, well, it might not really far. Well, some believe that Trump will also support the
for Biafra. Okay.
They feel that, of course, Trump, Israel has given support to Somaliland and all of this whole thing. And not forget, we have a good number of Igbo people in the US military. After the Civil War, they moved to the US. We have a lot of them. So these people also lay complaint and, and this era of social media information and all of those stuff. And also Nigeria is becoming like, in fact, we've seen a lot of documents where Nigeria is a signatory to Islamic and Arab and all of this whole thing. So they feel angered, all of the way Nigeria is handled. In fairness to them, their sons and daughters have not been in that seat. So Nigeria has been managed for these years, majorly by the Hausa Fulani and partly Yoruba. So they feel that anybody will come to rescue them. It's a matter of frustration. It's more of frustration, and they're thinking, okay, there could be hope.
Is the political class
they
against history?
They are. Because history really, it's propels something in you, instigates. Just the way you are reading about Ahira declaration and something was born inside of you. History opens your eyes. History builds minds. In fact, historians are known as most knowledgeable. When you are full of history, you have knowledge that transfer. In fact, as a matter of fact, one of my late uncle, he died at the age of 8 something. When I was telling some story about Biafra, I was like, these things I'm telling him that he was in Nigerian Navy, and then he moved. After coming back to Biafra, he became part of Nigeria Biafra Navy. And he operated within Oribo. It was like some things I was telling him and showing him that he didn't even see it. He didn't know about it. So history opens your minds, makes you travel all over the world through your readings. It opens the floor of leadership. It also inspires you. It makes you to see greatness in great people, in great land, accomplishment of the past. So, Nigerian politicians, so to speak, or politicians generally, but mostly Nigerian politicians, because at some points, history was yanked off from our curriculum. They don't support or promote the study of history. Because if that is done, people's eyes will be open. Currently, social media in a way is part of, source of history, though not reliably, but it's part of it. People read a lot, and today, even though not today, their younger generation are even against them. Some are even supporting Trump. Some are condemning Gumi. In fact, we watch a video where some of them are saying all these Islamic clerics, they've been misleading them, telling them not to eat Christmas rice, that they will eat it. In the last 3 days or so during Christmas, some of them even went to church. So all of these whole lies, the people read and see. If anything happens to the people, read and see. That's what history does. Okay. And the leaders wouldn't want people to know all of this because knowledge is power.
So Dr. Numonu, why should I read books on the wall?
Well, you read books, or you are expected to read books on the wall so that you can learn lessons. Because part of the problem we have in Nigeria today is that people don't learn the lessons from history or the lessons of history. So when you read the books of civil war, on war generally, you will know that war is not the best option. Okay. And then you can begin to learn and unlearn. Right. For example, you can begin to learn the lessons, or begin to learn the ingenuity of people during the war. And that could help a nation, that could help the economy, that could help the technology, that could help the education, all of those stuff. Chinua Achebe's wife, Christy Achebe, she also opened schools during the war. When you read the work of Chinua Achebe, that was a country, she said that she started lesson during the war. And she mentioned that good people like big mansions and all of that. So begin to learn, how do we, and also the lesson from the Oribo people, for example, how they were able to accommodate people from different parts of Biafra.
Integrate
them. People they didn't know, fed them and all of those stuff. Some of them are still internally grateful. Once you mention you are from Oribo, Uguta, they love you. All those areas, once you mention that you are from that place or that you want to marry from there, so all of those goodwill.
How is Oribo today? Is Oribo advancing, or is still going through the same Nigerian?
Well, Oribo is still part of Igbo land. I'm telling you that over 16 something, 17 something, 18 something, Oribo was even more advanced. In terms of the demography, the things you have there, those European quarters and all of those stuff. But after the war, everything. So when you go to Oribo, you just have fine buildings, fine houses. Go to Gutameshi, it's a very cozy place now, but there are no presence, government presence. What
Are
are
there
the
good roads?
Well, not really. What has the government done? Even maybe building museum and all of those stuff. So look at that Uguta Lake. Is the second largest lake in Nigeria and the biggest in Southeast Nigeria. The confluence, all of the beauty, the beautiful scene, the cozy environment.
Tourism.
Yes, but what has the government, okay, state government has done her bit. What has even the federal government done? Even those area where those European estates were housed. In fact, those time we had Obonda Osa. I'm taking over 300 years ago. We have Obon Hausa, all of these things. Now everywhere is deserted. So it's a big problem, a national problem. Apart from Lagos, and even Lagos is not the best, it's not the model for, yes, Lagos is really vibrant and has a vibrant economy. But in terms of, town planning and all of those stuff, Lagos is congested. So what are we doing to Katsina, to Sokoto, to other places in Nigeria, to Ekiti, to Ede?
You went to Ahmadu Bello University?
No.
Or Bayero?
I went to nnamdi University, Oka, my first degree. Whereas my master's and PhD in UI, I did a PGDE in Usman Danfodio University in Sokoto.
Okay.
I did my primary school and secondary school in Kaduna.
That is, I know you
I
have some
served
connection.
in Plateau State. I've been to all the states in Nigeria, almost all the states in Nigeria.
Because sometimes I hear Hausa in your voice. Read books on the wall. Have you read this? Emeka? It is the story of Ojukwu. Ikemba of Nnewi, written by Frederick Forsyth. Emeka is a classic. If you want to know more about Ojukwu, read this. I can call this the authorized biography of Emeka Ojukwu, written by his friend, Frederick Forsyth. Achike Udenwa fought in the Atlantic Theater. This is the story, the Igbo story of the Atlantic Theater. He mentions Uguta. Some of the names you have been mentioning.
Yes.
They are here because he fought in that zone.
Okay.
And he became the governor of Imo State in 1999. He has written his story here. The book is entitled Nigeria, Biafra Civil War, My Experience, by Achike Udenwa. This is the latest book on Biafra. But what this author did was to fill a gap. Many have been writing books on the war. But what Kanayo Isinulo did is to look on Ojukwu in exile. He was a personal assistant to Ojukwu. So he went into exile with Ojukwu in Côte d'Ivoire. Ojukwu Exile, Diplomacy and Survival by Kanayo Isinulo. It's a good read. Remember, reading is feeding the mind. Ugo, you quoted this work in your PhD thesis.
That's it.
The Untold Story of the Nigeria-Biafra War. A chronological reconstruction of the events and circumstances of the Civil War by Dr. Luke Nnaemeka Aneke. In your thesis, you said this is more journalistic than analytical.
Yes, it.
Did you enjoy reading this?
Yeah, sure.
I hope you read Madibu.
I did.
You read it again and again.
I did.
He was the commander of the Biafran army.
He also mentioned about the Opoma, where the oil was refined, along Oribo Azix.
Yeah.
He mentioned that there. He talked about even the victory Biafra gained Oribo in Uguta Lake. He mentioned it.
He led the Biafran army during the war. You can call him the GOC of the army. The Nigerian Revolution and the Biafran War by Alexandra Madibu. You know, he also played a role in convincing Nzogu to stop the coup and join Ironsi. He was among those who convinced Nzogu. He was part of the Nigerian army before the war. Alexandra Madibu. The Nigerian Revolution and the Biafra War. Read this work. We've talked about this Tragedy of Victory. Have you watched the interview with Alabi Sama? Yeah, just scroll down the channel. You'll see the interview. Tragedy or victory. He's not Obasanjo's friend. Obasanjo also writes, my command. Read my command too, though it's not on this table. We have more than 40 works on the wall. I'm waiting for this interview. Captain August Ukbe. You know, we talk about the ground war. There was also the air war. You'll find it here. The air war, the Biafran air war. He tells the story. Another book full of pictures. This another book full of pictures. Though Alabi Sama has more pictures. But August Ukbe has pictures. Well written. No, the publishing. Good work. Good work. Quality publishing. I love this book. Ugo, you are of the Department of History
and International Studies.
Adeleke University. You are the head of department.
In Edo, Osun State.
Tell me about your department.
My department is a dynamic department, and currently we have up to 200 students, and we are doing very well. We don't just teach history, we also practicalize history and international studies. We have affiliation, we run program with United Nations. We do a program, we call it a Modeling United Nation. You know, so the students, you know, we teach them some things, the operations of United Nations. And also we also have partnership with a French village. We're on that. So our students are expected to go to French village to practicalize their skill in French. And so many very important programs in the department. So the department is a very vibrant, lively, and we go for excursions. Our students also go for internship. We go to places like ECOWAS and the rest of them. We go to the Ministry of International Affairs and some other ministries. You know, and recently we also have MOU and other affiliations that strengthen our discipline. And our lecturers are very good. Most of them are drawn from federal universities like UI, OAU, UNN, and the rest of them, UNIZIC, you know. Yeah, so
you did your PhD in UI.
I did my PhD in UI.
And you finished in 2018.
Most of my colleagues are also from UI. So the department is very robust and competitive, you know.
Are the students enjoying history?
Very well. They are enjoying history because history is life. The way we don't teach history the way people teach it, you know, traditionally. No, we connect it with the modern realities, current realities. You know, they go out. We go out to places that excite them, and they go to places that really inspire them too. You know,
is it challenging to be head of department?
Well, every leadership is challenging if you are really doing the right thing. Because if you want to really do the right thing, you must really pay the price. So at a cost. So it's really challenging, but I have colleagues who are very cooperative, and the management too. My VC is very cooperative, and also the proprietor of my university, Dr. Adedeji Adeleke, very cooperative.
That's Davido's daddy.
Davido's daddy.
The owner of the university.
Owner of the university, and very kind-hearted, you know. He's a good man, you know.
Why should I come to your university to learn?
Yeah, because you get the best. You have our universities, if not the most beautiful university in Nigeria. At the point we won awards all over Africa.
And even Igbo stand collectively with Iwe Dr. Lawrence Agubos on this matter that there is nothing like the Southern Nigerian Traditional Rulers Council. We say no. Mba. Nugugi. Mba. Olo. First, the Southeast already has a properly constituted Traditional Rulers Council that represents the interests, culture, and value of Igbo land. That council exists to speak on matters affecting the Southeast. It understands our custom, our history, and our worldview. Why then should we submit ourselves to a broader structure that does not reflect our identity? Why? Let us be honest. The Igbo and the Yoruba, though both in southern Nigeria, are culturally distinct people. Our traditions, spiritual system, leadership structures, and historical experiences are different. Unity does not mean uniformity. Respect does not mean surrender. How can Ooni of Ife be a permanent chairman of the council? Like, make it make sense. How, Chin? Is he trying to exalt himself above other first-class kings like Obi of Onitsha, Oba of Benin, and Obong of Calabar? If he truly cares about southern unity, that chairman slot should be co-chaired or rotationary. Accepting Ooni as your permanent chairman means you are his subject, and that alone strips you of the suzerainty and autonomy to decide the affairs of your Aro people. Traditional rulership in southern Nigeria is not a pyramid with one king at the top. Each kingdom is sovereign within its domain. Each ruler answers to his people and his ancestors. Making one ruler a permanent chairman over others suggests hierarchy, and that is unacceptable. Ezaro, we can see you are indirectly selling out the autonomy of Ndiaro because of what you stand to gain, and this alone defeats the purpose of the council. We expect better from you, Ezaro, than speaking Queen's English. Oh, English, you are Ezaro, the ruler of Aro dynasty, Aro Libo, one of the most prestigious Igbo tribes. If you can let yourself be subjugated and humiliated because of mercenary reasons, you have goofed big time, sir. Ndiaro have a proud legacy. They are known for diplomacy, commerce, spirituality, and influence across Igbo land. That legacy should not be diminished by entering into an arrangement that weakens territorial and cultural independence. Even if the chairman's seat was rotational, my people won't be a party to it. Why? We break kola nuts and pour libations as sacred acts before major deliberations. These are not mere rituals. They are spiritual acknowledgements of our ancestors and our heritage. Others don't. Would such practices be fully respected in a multi-ethnic council with different religious and cultural foundation? Or would they be sidelined in the name of political correctness? How would you, Ezaro, be comfortable staying in a council where breaking of kola nuts and pouring libations won't be honored? It is an abomination. Our ancestors must be turning in their graves. We have values. We are people of integrity, and lies and mischiefs are not what we represent. These people you are inching to unite with have always thrown Igbo under the bus, severally, all because of what they seek to gain, even when they know the right thing to do. We are better off staying on our own than mortgaging the voice of our kings because of money and political favors. Most importantly, our religious worldview with the other people are entirely different. More than half of those folks are Muslims. And we are Christians and traditionalists in Igbo land. It won't work, I beg. Nah, that's in it. We don't need compromise. We are better off alone by respecting each other's uniqueness. This idea of unity and oneness propagated by Dr. Nnamdi is what led our nation to be dysfunctional. While in essence, we are different and should have existed independently. Ezaro, the appropriate title of that union you entered with the Ooni should be Southern Nigerian Traditional Rulers Club, Forum, or Association, and not council. A council implies authority, structure, and representation. Representation carries weight. It affects identity, diplomacy, and collective voice. We cannot mortgage the integrity of our traditional institutions for political convenience or temporary advantages. The dignity of Igbo traditional leadership must remain intact. Oh, how I miss Sanyang. Chai! Biko, feel free to form your club and enjoy whatever proceeds you will benefit. But please, when it comes to solid matters like leadership and representation, be wise not to mortgage the territorial integrity of Ndaro because of muscle of bread. I'm specific with my mentioning of Arab people because they are those you represent. It will be a great insult to apply your suggestion to other Igbo tribes. You know it won't fly now, it won't fail. Even your people are not comfortable with your position on this matter. This is not hostility towards other ethnic groups. It is about protecting autonomy. It is about ensuring that no Igbo traditional ruler is placed in a position that diminishes his ancestral authority. Respect for others does not require submission. Cooperation does not require surrender. On this matter, many of us stand solidly with Igwe Agubos. The Southeast Traditional Ruler Council is sufficient for matters concerning the Southeast. Any broader alliance must be carefully structured to protect equality, sovereignty, and cultural integrity. Our tradition is not for sale. Our autonomy is not negotiable. Our voice.
So guys, let me take you through some of the reactions from Nigerians. There is this headline here that says, Moment, newly appointed IG Tunji Disu saluted his mother after being decorated as an AIG last year. Okay, this was the moment he was decorated as AIG last year, and today he is the IGP, guys. This is unbelievable, you know, the way things are happening in this country under the Tinubu's government. You know, your qualification does not count. That's why we have the wrong people in leadership. You know, we have the wrong people. Competence does not pay. When you are a criminal, you are a bandit, they give you money. Now, Tinubu's government is being accused to have paid terrorists a whole lot of money. This is just it. You know, this is just one of those things. Good work does not reward anybody. I had wanted to see if I would see reactions from Nigerians, you know, here as regards to the current headline of this same man being the one that is the IGP, who is going to be replacing Egbetokun and the rest of it. So we just hope that things get better in Nigeria. This level of tribalism, neglect for the Igbos is enough to just make people feel so marginalized. And that's why, you know, the Southeasterners have been asking for Biafra. And asking for Biafra in Nigeria is like another criminal request, that you'll be tagged a terrorist because you say you want to be on your own. Now, this headline coming from Parrot Fact says, Report labels Nigeria under Tinubu as world deadliest place for Christians. This has always been the case. World deadliest place. Nigeria is now the world deadliest place for Christians. Now, this person says, with billions of taxpayers' money poured into shaping the story, yet the truth keeps breaking through. Another person here say, allowing the APC to continue with will amount to emboldening the Islamic terrorists to continue in their deadly attacks against the Christian population. The vulnerable Christian population needs help, and the world must not stand aside to watch these reckless killings going on unabated. And then this other person here said, this is the reality. Tinubu and his lying teams would do whatever to water down or deny outrightly. Dismantle this entity called Nigeria to save lives and properties. Now, Mogu, this has always been the world deadliest place. Since Nigeria has always been the world deadliest place, guys. This is it. I don't know what is really happening in this country. So Nigeria has always been the world that, as in from the onset, Nigeria has always been the world's dirtiest place. That's what this guy is trying to say, guys. Unbelievable with all what is happening in Nigeria today. Now, somebody is urging the opposition to take the fight to America. Take the fight to America. Go and report Tinubu's government so that let it not be during campaign. You will not be allowed to campaign, guys. And this one says, now you be Mr. America, or yeah, begin work. This one says, Peter Obi escape assassination attempt in Edo, Nigeria. Now stupid people them be. The last time I remember, the two brought their fights to Nigeria. Igbos are so unpatriotic. If care is not taken, Igbos will never be president of Nigeria if they fail to shield their hatred against other regions. Where is this one coming from? It says the presidency can go back to South in 2039. And this presidency says the repeat of what Tinubu did in 2014. So, guys, that's another headline. This person is saying that the opposition should take their fights to the US and report it to Trump. Now, as regard to Ribadu and the billions of naira being paid, Tinubu government paid Boko Haram 2 billion naira and released their notorious commanders. 2 billion will equip and arm Boko Haram to topple this government. Hey, 2 billion naira, guys, no be small money. Anyway, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Thank you.